What can fall from the sky? Raindrops? Hail? Snow? That's right. But sometimes even an animal can fall on its head. A shark can land right in the yard of the house. An alligator falls near a residential building and birds arrange something creepy. In this video you will see these and other cases when animals fell from the sky. Take a look at this photo in which a shark fell from the sky and fell on the house of a break in the roof. It seems that this is impossible, because how can sharks that swim in the sea fall from the sky? Well, maybe not so huge, but still a shark may well fall on someone's head. This has happened more than once. For example, in 2015, in Virginia, USA, children found a shark in the yard of their house, or rather a baby shark. The discovery scared them and surprised them very much. How did the fish get there? After all, there were no oceanariums or a shop with exotic fish nearby. The answer was given by scientists. They believed that the shark was pulled out of the water by some bird of prey, which then inadvertently dropped its prey. A similar thing happened in Australia when a shark was found on a local road, and it was already quite large and not a small shark. Soon it happened again and another shark was found on an Australian highway. She surprised the drivers very much. The first shark was on the road after a torrential rain with flooding, and the second one was probably thrown out of the car by someone. But this shark was found in his garden by a resident of the UK. James Hill as a half-meter cat shark there from nowhere and very puzzled James. But most likely it was dropped again by some inattentive bird-hunting sharks. Fish. In general, fish falling from the sky is not something supernatural, not something that happens once every 1,000 years or something like that. This can be seen in different parts of the world. If the fish is lying alone, then most likely it was dropped by some bird of prey. Not all birds have a powerful beak to hold the fish. But it also happens that there are a lot of fish at once, so this phenomenon is called fish rain. For example, this happened in Mexico in 2017 in the city of Tampico. Along with the usual precipitation, fish fell from the sky. And this is Malta in 2019. There was also a fish rain. Hundreds of fish fell from the sky on the sidewalk in the roadway. The locals did not waste time and began to collect fish, someone to let the fish go back to the sea and someone to get free food. The same thing happened in India in 2022, and just a month ago in the same city with an interval of almost exactly a year, there was a fairly abundant fish rain. Australia did not stand aside either. Where at the beginning of this year fish fell on the heads of local residents, children began to collect fish and put it in jars with water. There is one place on the planet where fish rain is not uncommon. This is the city of Oro in Honduras. There, once a year, fish regularly falls from the sky. This has been happening for more than 100 years between May and July. Locals and tourists watch as a dark cloud appears in the sky and then lightning flashes, thunder thunders, a strong wind blows and 2 to 3 hours of heavy rain pours. After its completion, hundreds remain on the ground, live fish that people collect and take home to cook. In this regard, a fish rain festival is even held in Yora. As for me, it's still not very pleasant when fish fall on your head. But it's not so scary. It's much more terrible if worms fall on you from the sky. This is exactly the situation that happened recently in China. In Liaoning province, a rain of worms fell out. They covered parked cars. It looked disgusting, to put it mildly. I don't envy the owners of these cars. Personally, I would rather walk than get into such a car. Where did the worms come from? Yes, it's still because of the strong winds. According to scientists, the worms were blown away by a strong wind during a storm. But there is another theory. According to her, the worms were actually poplar flowers that resemble writhing caterpillars. Whatever one may say, the external sight is not the most pleasant. Imagine, you are walking down the street, nothing portends trouble, when suddenly an alligator falls from the sky right in front of you. It seems that I am now describing the plot of a delusional dream at a high temperature or something like that, but This really happened in reality, and not so long ago, and all in the same China. In May of this year, a surveillance camera captured how an alligator fell from a great height, jumped up and landed again. Don't worry, he survived. The reptile hit the canopy stretched over the entrance, and this softened the blow. The weather here is clear and sunny, there is no question of any tornadoes or storms, and it is unlikely that any bird is involved in this. That's right, no bird would lift an alligator into the air. Here everything is more interesting. The reptilia was at home and she fell from the balcony of a skyscraper from the height of the 20th floor. At that moment, the owner was not at home. Now you can guess whether the alligator accidentally climbed onto the windowsill and fell off, or whether he deliberately threw himself out of the window to escape from imprisonment to his friends in the wild. Birds in Mexico. It's one thing when animals that can't fly fall from the sky, but there are also such unusual cases when birds fall from the sky. Sometimes it looks very creepy. Look at how it happened in Mexico a year ago. It feels like someone from above opened some kind of door, and through it hundreds and thousands of birds were abruptly knocked to the ground. So everything happened quickly, massively, and suddenly some birds managed to get up and fly away, but others remained on the sidewalk. The footage is really frightening. It feels like the birds are performing some kind of ritual, or that they have insanity. Someone even thought that the apocalypse had begun. In fact, yes, it is truly unknown what happened. There are only versions. One of them says that the birds could have collapsed as a result of inhaling toxic fumes. According to another version, the birds were sitting on the wires, overloaded them, and they were synchronously shocked by the current. And someone believes that the birds fell due to a problem that arose during murmuration, the phenomenon when a large flock of birds forms dynamic three-dimensional figures in the air. They say the birds have lost their way. There is another version according to which the fall of the birds was caused by a bird of prey, fleeing from which they crashed into the ground during murmuration. Which version do you like more? Or do you have your own version? If so, write in the comments.